a.k.a. WLTV, and this is BBQ Central.
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
Welcome to the really big BBQ Central Show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important to the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I am your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evenings, a live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, here's how you do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at BBQCentralShow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, the BBQ Central Show.com. And here's what's happening on the show this evening. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, he is a quarterly guest. He has been appearing on the show since its very existence back in 2007 when it was a travesty of a podcast. He is a BBQ Central guest Hall of Famer and a Barbecue Hall of Famer. Stephen Raichlen will be joining the show. After Stephen, we will go 35 past the first hour, and monthly guest, official business expert of live fire for the BBQ Central Show, Wes Wright of CookoutNews.com shows up. So a jam-packed, highly educational, and dare I say, entertaining first hour. Then we will move to the second hour, and 14 past that second hour, also another quarterly guest, and in successive weeks, somebody that is on the Pitmaster cooking show on Food Network. It's Susie Bullock with Todd. Not only is Susie a contestant along with her teammate Christy Vanover of Girls Can Grill on Pitmasters, the Food Network show, airing Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern, I believe. At the same time, on a completely different network, Tastemade. Not sure exactly where I find Tastemade. I know where I find Food Network, but Tastemade is a channel that people know about, or a streaming channel that people know about. But Susie also on there at the same time with Backyard Barbecue Hero on Tastemade. So kind of all Susie all the time on Tastemade, and then also she's over there doing the Pitmaster show. Double Aught Barbecue is saying that she's on Netflix too. What show is she on Netflix? Double Aught, or is that where one can get the Backyard Barbecue Hero? I don't know. But I do know she's on Tastemade, and I do know she's on Food Network, and they are happening right here and right now. So we'll talk a lot of TV with Susie and Todd. We'll talk about how both opportunities came up. We'll talk a little bit of business, and that'll probably bring an end to the show. So that's what's happening here this evening. Stephen Raichlen, Wes Wright, a first hour, and then a Susie and a Todd Bullock second hour. Double Aught saying that Backyard Barbecue Hero on Netflix. So now I know where I can go watch that. So that's how the show's stacking up here this evening. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, the Twitter, the TikTok, Snapchat, and LinkedIn's, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And we are saying good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of the video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show, where we do have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. With the dates now set and announced, do you believe the BBQ World Cup will happen 100%? And currently 57% of you are saying yes. That is down from an 80-20 merely 45 seconds to a minute ago. So we're trending back towards 50-50 at the moment. We're almost there. Maybe one vote gets us back to 50-50. But right now, the positivity makers are saying yes, with the dates now set and announced, you feel like the BBQ World Cup finale is going to be happening at some point. Well, not even at some point. That will happen in the first part of 2027 there in Las Vegas. And we'll track those stats, and we'll ask all guests the very same question here this evening. The poll question from last week, those results, if I gave you $5 million to get down with a cow covered in jelly, would you do it? 79% of you said no, but 21% of you said yes. Depravity reigns supreme with 21% of you. But we will start here tonight. And maybe you're getting sick of hearing about it, or maybe you're not. Let's give credit where credit is due here this evening. And the credit should be given to something that has been a force on this show since its inception. Something that has its own momentum, its own ecosystem, its own way of living and moving about the world. And we as humans have no way of controlling it. And when it avails itself, it always wins, it never loses, and you can only hope as a human man or woman that at some point in your life, it graces you with its appearance. I am, of course, talking about the one, the only, the show Karma. That's right. It struck again over this past week. You might recall John Jackson and Connie D'Souza appeared on this show last Tuesday in the second hour. It was a tremendous debut appearance, lots of great conversation, TV insight, great culinary background anecdotes were shared, and thusly, the show Karma rewarded them with winning their episode last night on Pitmasters, which airs every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Food Network. In the theme of backyard barbecue, Susie and John win with a great main dish of sausage, which of course they're well known for on the show, along with what was deemed to be an outstanding carrot puree dessert. And don't try to bring that, this was shot a month ago or 2 months ago or 4 months ago. How can you say the Karma is responsible for the win? Look, I have never once in my whole life questioned the show Karma. No one has been affected by it, has ever questioned it. So there's no reason we're going to start now. And here's what we know as fact. I'm not making it up. This is not my feelings. This is fact. Connie and John show up on the BBQ Central Show last week. Fact. The Pitmasters show airs last night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Fact. Those two win the Big Burn Challenge, move on to the final 3 teams left on the show. Those are facts. It's not up for debate. This actually happened in real life. The Karma lives on. You know that Susie and Todd Bullock are just aching to get on this show here in the second hour to partake in some of that aforementioned Karma flow that John and Connie did last week. Also, outside of the show Karma, many of you writing in about, am I going to lead the show tonight? with more toupee talk. Indeed not. However, if you stay tuned, top of the second hour, I will give you a complete breakdown of where we sit a week later, week outside, almost a week outside of consultation. Remember, last Wednesday was the initial consultation with Lindsay Cole from Lindsay Cole Hair, or Hair by Lindsay Cole, one of those things. I apologize, Lindsay, who's down in Westerville. We'll call it Columbus just for point of reference. So I'll break it all down for you in the second hour, top of, because I know you're just anxious to hear all about it and track that progress as we get to Installation Day about a month away from now. Holy moly. I am going to have hair. All right, Stephen Raichlen patiently waiting. Before we get to him, we will talk to you quickly about Primo Grills. Now, from a high level, what do we love about ceramic cookers? Well, we love that they're ceramic. Yes, that's very nice. We love that they're fuel efficient. That's also very nice. Saving money. We love that they can achieve low and slow temperatures for the traditional barbecue meats. That's why we're here. But we also love that they can get rip-roaring hot for the high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Now, we all know two-zone cooking is very important to both professional cooks and backyard cooks. It's the best way to manage a fire and cook with confidence. However, getting a two-zone fire in those round ceramic cookers is not very realistic. Why? Because it's round. Enter Primo Grill and the game-changing oval design. This shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. It also gives you the other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to configure the Primo cooker, so you're only limited by your culinary imagination. If you're a guy that loves the cooker, but you love accessories more, don't worry, you're in luck. Primo Grill's bringing a ton of accessories to the table to complete that Primo Grill cooking experience. Only found at dealers, so find that dealer online, primogrill.com. And then once you find that dealer, visit them in person, touch and feel all the ovals. Then buy the best one that fits your needs. Simple as that. It will be the summer of Primo for you, like it has been for the last 2 summers for me, and I love it. Just cooked on it 2 nights ago, doing a little flank steak cook, and we might do that again on Thursday. So delish, lean and mean. Primogrill.com. Follow them also on the social medias, won't you? We're back with a Stephen Raichlen right after this. Stick around.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Broadcasting live from the BBQ Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. Jason Pettis in the instant chat. I swear I thought you just said the initial constipation. No, consultation, Jason. The initial consultation. You got corn cobs in your ears, son? Hey, my first guest tonight, known as the icon of the industry, a host of TV shows, the creator and leader of Barbecue University, 5 times James Beard Award winner. He's a Barbecue Hall of Famer and a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer as well. Go ahead and welcome back our quarterly guest, Stephen Raichlen. Hey, Stephen.
How you doing?
I am doing well. Appreciate you joining us as always. All right, before we get going here on a number of different topics, we have a YouTube poll question of the week. I don't know how closely you're following this, but it is a big deal. Stephen, with the dates now set/announced, you believe that the BBQ World Cup will happen 100%?
I do believe it.
Yes, all right. And 62% of the YouTube voting public aligning with a Stephen Raichlen. I'm edging more towards yes, but I'm still going to say no because we have no location and we have no judging method as of yet. So it's still a little squirrely to me, but I will remain the devil's advocate while Stephen brings positivity here to this segment. All right, so in just 2 months, Stephen, if you can believe it, on October 20th, Man on Fire of Life, Love, Literature, and Really Good Barbecue will be released to the great unwashed. What's the most important thing you are doing between right now and right then?
Well, this morning I spent the morning listening to the audio version because Man on Fire is going to be an audio book.
Oh.
So I went through the manuscript, highlighted every foreign word, and since I've done shows in French and Italian, and I live in Miami where there's a lot of Spanish, and I've been to Asia, there are a lot of foreign words in the book. So I went through the manuscript and created a pronunciation guide for all the foreign and exotic words in the book. Now, that may sound a little weird, but a few years ago, there was an audio version of my novel, The Hermit of Chappaquiddick, and the reader did not prepare very well and butchered a lot of the words, a lot of the place words in that book, and I was determined not to let it happen again.
So I'm going to go off of my serious NYPD Blue deduction skills here and say you're not the one voicing the book?
I'm not the one voicing
Why not?
the book.
It's your book. You have such an eloquent voice and you could nail all those words.
You know why? Because if I read the book, I would want to start editing every paragraph, every chapter. Oh, I could have said this better. Oh, I could have said that better. And I would never get through it. I'd never be able to read what I was written. So better leave it to a pro.
Would you be in trouble if you decided to do it and then you're reading your pages and you decided just as it's happening off the cuff, as we say, you're changing words or you're adding a little bit of ad lib to it? Do you get in trouble for that?
I don't think you get in trouble, but the idea of an audio book, and I listen to a lot of audio books, is that they sound perfect and polished. And I think if you're editing while you're reading, that does not a good audio book make.
I'm not here to put you on the spot here, Stephen, but did I miss an invite to test for being the reader of the book?
You would have been a fabulous reader of the book, and I am sorry I thought of it after the fact.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what, next one, if there's another audio book, you will be at the top of the list.
I'm happy to give it a try. My reading skills are on point.
You know what? You would have been good. You would have been a good reader for that.
I feel like I could channel you. I'm not going to sound like you, but I feel like I could at least channel the inner being of Stephen Raichlen. We're kindred live fire spirits. At a minimum, we're kindred live fire spirits.
You know what? It's an item we will add to the life regret list.
All right. Well, I'm glad I can help on that. If you were just getting into book writing today, how successful do you think that you would be covering this genre?
Well, I don't think you can write a memoir when you're just starting out in your career because
I meant if you just got into book writing, not this specific book necessarily, but just the profession of book writing.
Well, I don't know. When I started writing books, there was no social media, there was no artificial intelligence. 2 of my books are multi-million copy bestsellers. I don't know that happens in cookbooks anymore these days, because there's just so much distraction elsewise. Well, on the other hand, I know a heck of a lot more both about writing and about barbecue and about literature now than I did when I started 40 years ago. So maybe my books would be better. But we will see that because not only is Man on Fire coming out in October, but the other thing I've been working on is the Barbecue University Cookbook, which is coming out next April. Now, I run this school, Barbecue University, at the Alisal Ranch in Solvang, California. Workman Publishing, my longtime publisher, is bringing out the Barbecue Bible cookbook. And in a way, it's sort of my opportunity to look back over my career, what I've learned, the dishes I'm really proud of, the techniques that I had to figure out, and how to explain this massive, complicated field of barbecue in ways that are simple and easy to understand and easy to execute.
Are you a guy that feels passionate about writing everything on your own, or do you leverage AI day to day at this point?
Write everything on my own. I do not use AI.
Do you find it offensive that AI is out there and writing for people?
Yeah, I first of all, I think you can tell when something's written by AI. And second of all, I mean, I'm a writer. It's like that would take the meaning of my life away. I like writing, but I will say that I use AI for research, and AI is a terrific tool for research. In Man on Fire, I kind of talk about the history of barbecue. I talk about the history of cookbooks, to find out when Guillaume Tirel, the French author of a book called Le Viandier, which is the most successful cookbook in history in terms of longevity. It was first appeared around 1375. It's still in print today. Details about his life, man, if I had to research that, it would take me forever. A trip to a library. AI, got it in 5 minutes. 5 minutes, I've got it in 5 seconds.
1375.
But yeah.
Wow.
An amazing, this guy's an amazing story. So his name was Guillaume Tirel, but his nickname was Taillevent, which means wind slicer in French. And that was probably a reference to his knife skills. But this guy, I was thinking about it. I mean, he has a lot in common with us barbecue folks, because back then all cooking was done over live fire. A lot of rotisserie stuff, a lot of spice mixes, spice rubs. Spices were a status symbol in the Middle Ages. So it's been kind of fun in writing the book to sort of reflect on things I've done in the past, that other people have done in the past, and how they relate to the present. I'm pretty excited. The book is at the printer right now, so I think probably in the next 10 days I'm going to get my first copy.
So you can pre-order.
Tell you what, I'll make sure. I was going to make sure you get the second copy. But yeah, pre-order is really amazing. Pre-order would be fantastic. If all your listeners would pre-order the book, I would have a good night's sleep and not sort of worry about things.
Do publishers bring that up in conversation now? Is that like table stakes? How many pre-orders do you think you can get?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's very important. It's even more important now, because of the book publishing industry has changed. But pre-orders help determine the print run. Will the publisher print 5,000 or 50,000? Well, if there are a lot of pre-orders, they're going to print more.
We're seeing a lot of barbecue TV again, or a lot of barbecue people being featured on TV again. Some of the latest and greatest names in the industry are on the Food Network, on something called Taste Made, and some other online streaming cable channels as well. Are you an active watcher of any of that currently?
To be honest with you, I make TV. I really don't watch much of it. I'm kind of at my computer writing about barbecue 8 to 10 hours a day, and when my time is off, I watch something totally different. I will tell you what I'm watching, though, because it's terrific.
All right.
It's a series called Grantchester. It's on Netflix, and it's a detective series set in the 1950s, and the sleuth is a priest. And in addition to solving murder mysteries, there's a lot of sort of philosophizing and moralizing. And he's a priest, actually, is a very challenged human being, meaning that he fights with his inner demons and his unhealthy impulses all the time. So it's very complex, very, very nuanced.
All right, Grantchester, so I wrote that down. We might watch that.
Good.
How many times have you been approached, let's say in the last 5 years, to do some kind of cooking contest television show?
A lot, both to judge it and to participate in it. My feeling about that is I've had my 20 years on television, and it's time for a new generation to appear on television.
But it seems like every time new TV comes on, they're kind of trotting out the same folks. Not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it's kind of a lot of the same.
Well, unfortunately, in a lot of TV now, people are looking at the bottom line, and they figure if it was successful once, it'd be successful again, and people don't really want to take a chance on new concepts. Now, when I say people, I mean networks and streaming platforms.
Could there be a perfect scenario that would get you off the sideline and into a contest potentially on TV?
Probably not a contest, but I am working on a new concept. It's a history of barbecue documentary, multi-part series, and that would certainly get me back on TV. I find as I get older, I'm really fascinated about barbecue's role sort of in our culture and our anthropology, and sort of how barbecue makes us human, what it says about us as a culture, as a society, and as people.
So we've danced around this topic a little bit here during the front part of the interview, which is BBQ University. You're set to have the 2026 curriculum unfold next month at the aforementioned the Alisal Ranch there in California. What do we need to know about this particular BBQ University?
Well, let's see. We have 3 theme days, okay? It's a 3-day course. It is a hands-on course, meaning that I start the class with a 1-hour demo, but then divide the group into teams, and the teams actually execute the day's menus. To give you an example, Happy Birthday America is the theme of the first day. Man on Fire, the theme of the second day. Global Tailgate Party, theme of the third day. Some of the dishes we're doing: smoked shrimp cocktail, chicken with Alabama white sauce, huli ribs, which are really cool because you take baby back ribs, you weave them onto a rotisserie spit, and you spit roast them. While doing a sort of a sweet pineapple soy sauce glaze. We have a red, white, and blue grilled pound cake. All right, enough with patriotism. What else do we have? We have, let's see. Oh, this is a cool one from the new BBQ University book. Grilled corn with a Cracker Jack crust. Where you take Cracker Jacks,
the candy,
corn, and grind it up, and that goes in the corn instead of the now ubiquitous cotija cheese. What else do we have? I've got something called heretic bratwurst. Most people, when they grill bratwurst, they direct grill it. I indirect grill it with a lot of wood smoke, kind of smoking it as well as grilling it. Comes out so unbelievably succulent that my mouth waters just to talk about it. We have smoked deviled eggs with salmon caviar. We've got a grilled tuna tonato. That's a really cool dish. It's a very rare grilled tuna steak served with a caper tuna sauce in the style of northern Italy. Wow. We have chipotle flavored creme brulees, papas bravas. You getting hungry yet?
Holy moly. This is a lot of food here we're talking about.
Yeah, we do, we do typically between 7 and 9 dishes per class. Now, the first day when I tell my students that, they look like they want to head for the exit. But by the third day, damn, if they're not doing 10, 12 dishes, the class really becomes a well-oiled kitchen brigade, outdoors, of course. And it's really fun. I encourage improvisation, great camaraderie. We still have a few spaces left if anybody's interested. If you go to barbecuebible.com, you can click on BBQ University. Love to see you out there.
Outside of the cooking portion, which anybody that's going specifically for Barbecue U is most looking forward to, what are your other favorite things to do there?
Well, I'll tell you what my students' favorite things to do, because the minute my class is over, I'm preparing for the next one. But we're right in the heart of the Santa Ynez Wine Valley. So if you like to taste wine, there are, I think, 200 wineries around the area. Whoa. If you're into golf, there's a beautiful golf course. The resort actually is a 10,000 acre resort with a herd of 100 horses. So sometimes they go out and horseback ride. I really love that. Hitting the trails with those. There's a lake. It's a spectacular place. And many of your listeners have probably seen it, because the last season of my series Project Smoke and the first season of my series Project Fire were actually taped on location at the Alisal Ranch. So really fun love to get out to California and love to make new friends and grill with old friends.
Outside of the class where you're kind of hands-on there, is there an expectation, or should there be an expectation from the guests that they would have some kind of other regular access to you outside of that?
Yeah, I think you know me well enough by now. I'm a pretty down-to-earth guy, and when people email me, I answer. I don't have a team of people that do that. I get emails from my wife will say, my husband loves your show. Would you do a Zoom with him or send him a card? I mean, I do that kind of stuff because, I love my work and I have a great job, and it's my listeners and viewers that make it possible. So I am very accessible.
We have Labor Day coming up in a few weeks.
And by the way,
yes, go ahead.
I just have to say that BBQ University has resulted in 2 marriages.
Really?
And one of the marriages, actually, they swore their vows over the barbecue Bible. And predating my interest in barbecue, but I actually met my wife in a cooking class in Paris where I was the translator for a French chef. So,
smooth.
Romance.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're about to ask a question.
Yeah, the American that knows all the French. I mean, you probably had your pick of the women with that.
Well, let's say I picked the right one.
All right, so we have Labor Day coming up in a few weeks. What are the Stephen Raichlen go-tos for a Labor Day cookout menu?
Well, I'm going to be on my way to BBQ University, unfortunately, but I did plan my fantasy menu, which would start with grilled oysters with Asian seasonings, followed by smoked gazpacho. The tomato crop here in Martha's Vineyard has just been unbelievable. Yeah. Next, we go to big bad beef ribs. I've been really into these beef plate ribs lately. I call them brisket on the bone. German potato salad, which was in a blog on my website last week that was really popular. And finally, got to do it for you guys, smoked ice cream. That's right, I smoke vanilla ice cream, and it winds up tasting like a frozen toasted marshmallow. It's unbelievable.
Is the potato salad, is that a warm or a cold salad?
It's a warm, it's, classic bacon. You toss the potatoes hot. My little twist is that I smoke roast the potatoes instead of boiling them. And it's an awesome potato. Potatoes and bacon, I mean, that's almost as good as E equals MC2.
No doubt. BBQ University happening soon. Also, Man on Fire, of Life, Love Literature, and Really Good Barbecue coming your way October 20th. So be sure to pre-order right now if you haven't already. Stephen, always appreciate the time, and we'll see you in 3 months.
Me too. You are great, and BBQ Central rocks. Grill on.
Appreciate it. There he is, Stephen Raichlen right there. And hitting the time mark as the professional that he is. Man, oh man, love it. If you have never been to BBQ University, Dennis Busso has been many times, says it's a blast, highly recommended. Dennis, are you going in a couple weeks? Will you be there for the 748th time? BBQ University, are you taking this year off? Or we have a Wes Wright coming up. What makes it German? Right. I was waiting for mustard. The barbecue show, Jason King asking you, when am I going to BBQ University? Believe it or not, Jason, I was extended an invitation this year. But because the BBQ Central show is not my real job, the real job has responsibilities on the days that BBQ University happens, so I had to politely decline. But I feel, since now this is the first invitation, there could be subsequent invitation. I might be able to take advantage of that, see what it's all about. And Dennis not going. Oh, no. All right, well, fans of Dennis, he will not be making the trip to the Alisal Ranch this year, but maybe next year. Maybe next year, Dennis and I go together. Not as a couple, but independently. And then act as a couple once we get there. How about that? Maybe Wes can join us too. Speaking of which, he's up next. So stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the BBQ Central Show. Howard Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the BBQ Central Show.
All right, we are back, and we thank our pal Stephen Raichlen for joining us last segment. BBQBible.com is the place to go to find recipes and products sometimes and all the other fun stuff. Something else I was going to say, but now I've forgotten it. That's all right. My next guest tonight runs cookoutnews.com, the website. He is a BBQ Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. He is the show's official barbecue business watcher, whether he knows that or not. It is, of course, Wes Wright, our monthly guest. Hey, Wes.
How's it going?
It's going well. I don't know if you heard it or not, but Stephen Raichlen said the BBQ Central Show rocks.
I did. I caught that.
I don't know.
In the home of rock and roll there.
I know. Very, there's probably some big word that he did there, like is that a ironic that he said that, or I don't know. Maybe you didn't know this, but somebody got into the rub making business here not too long ago.
Wow.
About that.
I didn't know that.
It's the BBQ Central Show's honey rub, and it's currently selling at $48 a bottle. I got an initial run of 6. I sold out of all of them.
Wow.
I've subsequently retired from the rub making business because I'm a boy. No, so I haven't. So here's a story in case you want to run it as a blind item. So just as a trial to see if anybody would buy it at $48. They were gone within the hour of announcing it at the top of the show. All 6 were spoken for. I have subsequently, because I am a shithead, but I'm not that much of a shithead. I gave everybody their money back because I felt like an incredible thief. Even though I wasn't stealing anything, I felt like I was stealing something at $48 a bottle. I sent everybody their money back. But I also ordered an additional shipment of 32 bottles. So I believe I will be coming to market with my honey rub. The label's probably going to look a little different. I know Doug Scheiding is freaking out thinking that I'm not going to give him a black label bottle, but I will. And I think I'm going to be in that like $11 a bottle area, and then we have to add shipping. And then this is where, to me, like online merchants probably feel most of the pain. I feel I'm competitive at $11. I saw Meat Church. I've seen all the other billion rubs that are out there, and they're all within, let's say, $10 to $12 a piece. Should I, nobody knows more business than you, Wes. Should I be even worried about $4, $5, $7 shipping or whatever it's going to cost? Or do I have to figure out a way to eat back some of that?
I think initially you can see if you can build up some hype. Your bottle, it looked a little bigger than like Meat Church bottles though, didn't it?
This is a 12-ounce bottle.
Okay. Yeah, I think theirs are a little skinnier. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, but...
And Matt's always trying to maximize GP.
Yeah.
Seems to be doing pretty well.
Yeah, maybe you keep with the $48 a bottle and go for the premium market.
Yes, but I feel like 32 bottles might take the better part of a year and a half to sell through. I'd rather make my GP on volume and turns instead of, living in that Kalamazoo grill kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, Wes. With the date set and announced, as mentioned here on this show, I believe last week or the week before, you believe that the BBQ World Cup will happen 100%?
Yeah, I think it'll happen.
Right? You are aligning with 56% of the YouTube voting public, where at one point in the show open, it was 80-20 yes to no's. The no's have started to march back and claw some of that lead back. I'm on the fence between the two.
Why won't it happen?
Well, there's still no location set, and there's still no judging method sent. And I know in the bottom of that email where it announced the dates, it said that they were going to be announcing location like later, and they were going to be judging or announcing the judging method or rules or both or whatever at some point towards the end of the year, so everybody has equal time to do. As I said in the embedded correspondence segment last month, those 3 pieces of information, like if you have them, you release those. You scream them from the mountaintop for anybody that was taking a shit on your particular event for months and months in a row to dispel all that. It's these dates, it's at this resort or wherever the hell you're going to have it at, and here are the rules, and this is the judging method that we're going to use, and we're going to just pound it and pound it and pound it so everybody knows there's no surprises and everybody feels 100% confident. Like without those 3, I wasn't as bad as John Solberg, who believes it is nothing but a grift. I was like, I can see his point because some very major issues that I would want to know as a potential participant are not being doled out. And now it seems like they're just sitting on information. Like some information, okay, like if they're going to be a mega superstar that's going to be like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are going to be guest judges. So you want to keep that under wraps. You want to sit on that info to build some hype. But these are cornerstone items to build your event and to give it more legitimacy and believability for the folks that might be naysayers. So I continue to find it odd that they want to sit on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when I've looked at it too, it seems like they're like it's almost like a Memphis in May. But they have like they're advertising a whole expo side of it where they're saying you can launch products, stuff like that. I mean, from work I've done in the expo space, usually you pre-sell your next year's event at the current event. So, the clock's running on that. You get, a good 60% pre-sold for next year. And if it's in April, is that right?
I believe, yes, April.
So like we're already sitting in August, clock's ticking on selling expo space, especially when marketing dollars are at a premium in the barbecue space.
Any idea where the $1 million prize is coming from?
Yeah, I mean, again, going to Memphis in May, they had like massive losses, right? And wasn't that the story last year? That
it's been years in a row. There's been losses.
Yeah. So I think the way you can only make it work is if you have a large expo, but a consumer expo is a little different and takes time to build up. So that's the only way you can make it work. If you look at like the HPBA's financial disclosures, they make like 5.2 million a year. I'm using rough numbers here, and they make like 2.5 of that is from the HPB Expo, right? And from that event, they probably make, I want to say like $300,000-400,000 grand. So if you could do something bigger than that and you paid out your whole profit, you could make it work. But also that's like an established body and established marketing and all that stuff. So paying out $1 million is hard unless you have a huge profit.
$1 million to the winner, and then additional 100 or 200,000, paid down through various finishing places. I would imagine category finishes are going to share in some of that additional pie as well. Scott Erdman told me that the money's coming from investors. Where do you think, speculation, of course, where do you think the win for a potential investor is going to be? Usually you hear these things and it's the BBQ World Cup brought to you by Weber Charcoal or Weber Grills and Kingsford Charcoal and Casey Masterpiece and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's another thing that's a little odd. If you go to their website on something, especially if you're an expo or even a big event, usually your sponsor logos are all over the place because that's where you make your money. And I don't see any when I go to their website. So unless it's some private investors, were okay with some losses the first year to get something going. I'm not sure. Whoever is running that event has a lot of work to do in the short time.
Are you still not watching barbecue television?
It's not even specifically barbecue television. I got kind of burned out on like the cooking competition shows. I spent years and years watching those. I've seen a billion episodes of Chopped, and it's like, I'm at a point where I'm just like, it's not that serious. Let's just cook some decent food and, everyone's happy.
Everybody on that Pitmaster show is telling me, but this one is different.
Oh, really? What's different about it? I haven't watched it. I'll be honest.
I mean, I've been watching it. I know who gets eliminated. By the way, if you didn't watch it on Monday, Matt Groark's team got eliminated last night. To me, and I have been a very, very long time, I don't like cooking competition shows. I think there's a lot of what appears to me to be manufactured hype, shit talk, danger things that like we're always coming down to the last second to turn, and something is going to always come up in the middle of whatever the main cooking thing is. So on this show, it's called the flash burn, and Barbecue Pitmaster was called the sidewinder, and there's some other term in some other cooking show that they introduced something where you only got 20 or 30 minutes to do something outside of whatever the main task at hand is. Outside of the no sleeping thing, which is kind of new, and that everything is being cooked outside, but it's not like you're cooking only on open pits that you're keeping alive yourself. They do have offset wood cookers. I don't know if I saw a pellet cooker or not there, but there are a number of cooking vessels that are available. It is in the mountains of Utah. You have to take elevation into consideration. I'm sure there's weather issues, and I'm not saying it's a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination, but as I look through Barbecue Brawl, all of the seasons of Barbecue Pitmasters, there certainly, to me, finds a lot more similarities than differences when I look at this particular show.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why like the British Bake Off was popular. It was more relaxed and just like, oh yeah, you made a bundt cake, great job. It wasn't quite so serious. So anything where just like the overall thing of it, like you said, where it's like overly dramatic is just it just loses me.
Spider Grills, a brand, believe it or not, we have talked about at least 2 or 3 times this year. You and I have talked about it. I've had guests on reviewing products, a couple different guests actually reviewing products. I've tried to get an interview with the owner of Spider Grills, although at this point I continue to be rebuffed. It's a shame, but I will continue to try and get him on the show. They seem to be making a bigger play on distribution side of things. What's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, they started in the Weber space with making, controllers. They had a pellet controller for a Weber, and then they had that Venom, which controls your charcoal.
Okay, we have no Wes at the moment. I am currently reviewing all of my equipment. I do have the internet. Nothing appears to be shutting off, so maybe he'll be joining us here in just a moment.
Sorry about that, but so they released the Huntsman, which is a purpose-built grill based on their engineering, and it's a good product for like a dealer network. It's kind of perfect for like specialty retailers like that, because it takes a little.
He's gone again. Wes, you got to pay that internet bill, bro. Otherwise, they shut that internet off. Maybe you paid the wired portion of the internet, but you didn't pay the Wi-Fi. Got to pay both sides, Wes. Got to pay both sides.
We'll do it live.
Of the internet in order to remain on the show. And still no Wes Wright back in, and he's not coming back according to his text message. So let me go over to our pal. Do I want to? Yeah, I could do that. Why not? All right, well, I feel bad because Wes Wright was really schooling us on spider grills before the internet took him out. Immediately, I'm leery about everything else going forward on the show because that's how I live in my life. Wes Wright can be found at cookoutnews.com, where you can find all sorts of stories on spider grills, loco cookers that we never got to. Again, that's cookoutnews.com. This show is proudly sponsored by our pals over at Fireboard, the innovators behind the Fireboard 2, the Fireboard Pro, the Fireboard Spark, the Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. Experience total control over all your devices from anywhere in the world as long as you have that Fireboard app. You can discover more by visiting their website at fireboard.com. Or if you have any questions, call them. 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232. Maybe Ted Conrad will answer the phone and answer your question. Who knows? Again, it's fireboard.com on a website. All right, we'll be coming back to wrap up this first hour. What ends up being a technical nightmare first hour, 35 past the hour. But we will trudge through. You're listening and watching the BBQ Central Show right here on the BBQ Central Network. Stick around. We'll be right back.